So our free move turned into about $6,000 out of our own pocket.
Hey, welcome to Smart Talk, where we help you go from truck to CEO by working smarter, not harder. Most movers build a company first and then maybe think about franchising later. But today's guest did exactly the opposite. Pink Zebra Moving was built to franchise from day one. Now they've grown to 27 locations across the country, all franchise. We're going to talk about what that actually takes, the systems, the standards, the leadership, and why this industry needed a shakeup in the first place. I'm your host, Anna Zubia, and today's episode is one I've been waiting for. Really excited to have Laura Bowen, the president of Pink Zebra Moving. She could have gone into criminal defense law, but instead she's building one of the most talked about franchise brands in moving. Lauren, welcome to Smart Talk.
Yeah, thanks, Anna. I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I want to dig into this. So, everybody's heard the horror stories in moving, like broken furniture and surprise pricing and crews disappearing. So, for Pink Zebra, when you guys got into these challenges, it wasn't just market research, it was really personal, right? Your founder's mother in law had like a terrible moving experience, and that basically started the whole company. So, what happened?
We were actually at another brand prior to. So our founder also founded a national brand called Two Maids and a Mom. Yeah, he was selling that business and we were looking for the next big thing to get into and just were doing a lot of market research on different home services. We were looking at things like, landscaping and roofing and painting. And Ron, our founder, his mother-in-law moved. She calls Ron for all of her big decisions. And she said, I don't really know what to do here. I'm getting quotes with these moving companies, and I have heard everything from $4,000 down to $800. So Ron says to her, hey, just hire the $800 moving company. And what's the worst that could happen? Fast forward to after the move, they locked her stuff in the truck. And they would not release it until she agreed to pay them. And it was close to $4,000. So almost as much as the highest quote that she had received. She called Ron again on her way into the moving company office. She walked up, she asked to speak to the manager, and he could hear on the other side of the phone that they were laughing at her. And they offered her like $100 to go away. She was very upset. They had broken a lot of her stuff. They obviously charged her way more than what they originally quoted. And he was like, this can't be the only situation where this is going on. So he went and did some market research and found that this is happening all over the country. Comes in the conference room the next day and he's like, I got it, guys. So we just kind of hit the ground from there and said, moving industry is really a great place for us to be able to put our stamp.
I feel so bad for her for having to go through that. What a terrible situation. Those different gaps between the original quoting experience to how it was dealt with on site to how they just treated her in office. I mean, it's so sad that she had to go through that, but it's also like seeing what bad looks like helped you guys craft good. What's really interesting too, and this is what I love. I'm a marketer, so I love a good brand. A lot of moving companies, and I love all of our guys out there. They've got the tough guy brand, but y'all didn't do that. You guys are Pink. What?
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
Two Maids was Pink as a brand. We said, if we're going to come in and we're going to lead this charge and we're going to say, we're out here to disrupt this industry, we want to be the exact opposite of everything that is happening. Ron actually did sell Two Maids, which was great so that we could focus our energy on this before we dived in. He took a trip to the Keys, which is his happy place. And he was, in the middle of the water on a fishing boat and thinking back on what he had built over the years and what the new business was going to look like. And all of a sudden, a zebra striped truck came across the bridge and it caught his attention. And he was like, oh, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
He came in the next week. He said, okay, I've got it. This is going to be our brand. And we got to designing. Everything I own is like some form of zebra now. But it's amazing how much you see out in the wild that crosses back to your brand once you start building something.
It's an emotional differentiation as well. Like you're not blending in physically, but you're also creating that different moment. They start to associate the actual experience, the customer service with that brand. If you haven't looked up Pink Zebra, go check them out online. They have a really great website. You can really see the brand across that and their social channels. Give them a follow. You have so much fun on there. Your team is great. Most movers, like when they're starting out, they're not thinking about building systems first. They're trying to just get the business going, and it tends to build chaos, and then they're struggling to like organize it later. But since you guys took the approach of Big Zebra to franchise from day one, operations was a different priority there. So what does that actually look like for you guys from an operational level?
So I've been on both sides of franchising. I've been a business owner myself, and I've always lived in the home services space. You have to have so much process. There's a literal process for everything. As we were building the business and launching the proof of concept, we really were there just to design. First, let's get out there. We'll roll up our sleeves and we'll just try to do it. And I'll tell you, our first move was a disaster. We called around. We know some local realtors. Do you have any clients who are moving that will let us move them for free? We've done some research. We think we have a solid manual together. We want to test it out on somebody. And I'll tell you, it really was a disaster. We ended up paying another moving company to move this client. So our
Gosh.
free move turned into about $6,000 out of our own pocket. We learned, okay, well, we have to make sure that we're following up with our movers are sometimes not the most reliable. You've got to make sure that your client understands what's going on, that you're having formal meetings prior to the actual jobs. There's consistency inside of your walls. It took us about a year to build out the processes, and then made the decision after our first full year in business that okay, we think we have this down. We know we're actually seeing some profitability here. We feel like this is a scalable experience, and just published our first FDD and just got to work. We're only 3.5 years into franchising. Our first location launched in December of 22, and it's been wild. It's been a wild ride.
It's been a wild zebra. I love that you learned by doing and the humility of sharing like the mistakes that happen. And it's really fascinating. A lot of your franchisees, they don't actually come from the moving industry. Is
Right.
that correct?
Franchising is kind of a different universe. You'll get people from usually corporate America who are just disenchanted with the lifestyle or the bureaucracy. It's like me having gone to law school and then realized, like, I don't know that I want to be a part of this group. What we're looking for once we get them here, commitment to customer experience, this is a huge deal. We want to make sure that you've got that mindset coming in because not everybody believes that customer experience is the most important thing in your business. Alignment with our mission, we are the world's first happy moving company. We make moving fun. Our vision is 10 years from now that a consumer is going to ask their friend, "You just moved? Did you hire one of those happy moving companies? Or did you hire, just those old school guys?" And so we were really on a mission to change like how people feel about our industry as a whole. There are so many great companies and movers out there who aren't pink zebra moving, who get a bad rap because of their neighbor. And so we're really trying to change the game there. And we want people who believe in that. Couple of obvious things. You've got to be financially sound. You've got to be coachable. And that's another thing in franchising is that even though you're all independent business owners, you've got to belong to our system and follow our rules, which is not always easy. It's not always for everybody. But the ones that really like get dug into it and believe in what we're building as a brand and understand that the power of numbers is so great for what we're doing. I mean, we want people who like have that mindset that they want to be a part of something and that we're all building something amazing together.
So when you're part of Pink Zebra, you're part of that entire community. Tell me about the culture inside of that.
You're talking about our conference. It's called Stampede.
Yes.
So we do Stampede every year. Was our second one that we just came off of in February, and you guys had a rep there for us, so thank you for sending her. She's amazing. So our network is just like a one big family. Just having an amazing family reunion is how it feels when we're there. And celebrating one another and like all of the wins and success that are coming from our network right now. It's been insane to watch and it's such an incredible community. I usually cannot talk about numbers, but we just published our FDD. So I'm able to give like some results from last year and the locations that we had. And you have to be open for at least a year before we can publish you. But for the locations that we had that were a year or more, our average revenue was over 1 million. It was
That's amazing.
1.072 million, yeah. So, like, as a brand new brand, it's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, and to all those spreadsheets out there, everybody in the Pink Zebra fam that made up those numbers, hey, congratulations! Like you're doing it, and that's awesome to hear. That's a lot
Yeah,
of blood, sweat, tears. It's not an easy industry to be in, and you guys are doing it together, which is
yeah,
really cool.
it's been really cool. I mean, watching people build, like, a legacy that they can pass on also to their families. Our highest grossing franchisee last year made $700,000.
Crushed it,
And so it's
crushed it.
like, in his
Yeah,
pocket.
that's amazing to hear
Yeah.
that, and you guys are making that possible for these entrepreneurs, these business owners that are out there. Quick question for our movers: have you ever considered franchising your business or joining a franchise instead of building everything from scratch? So, if you have, drop franchise in the comments. I'm curious to hear where people stand on this, and don't forget to hit subscribe if you want a lot more conversations about building smart. We launch new episodes every week with amazing people like Lauren. The more we keep talking about this, the more it feels like customer experience isn't like a department, right? This is your DNA
Mhm.
inside the business. How are you keeping that alive and nurturing that as you grow?
Honestly, you would think that that would be more difficult as we get larger, but it's actually become less difficult. In the beginning, it was a little bit of a struggle for us to convince franchisees that customer experience was such an important thing that they needed to, believe in and ingrain inside of their business. And we have such amazing stories. So that for those of you who don't know anything about us, we have three staples that we provide our customers with. The night before the move, we buy them dinner. We do that on the confirmation call. We're calling to make sure that everything is still a go. Nothing's changed. You actually did donate all that stuff from your garage that you were going to donate, and we don't need to bring a second truck, And before we hang up on that call, we let them know that we want to buy them dinner for the night. We know all of their stuff is packed up, and we want to make it as easy as we can for them to just sort of relax the night before the move. We usually partner with somebody local because we want to make sure that we're passing that business on to local business owners also. During the move, the guys have sort of like free reign to figure out what kind of like fun shake-up experience they want to do. Some kind of really fun ideas that we've had through the network. The crew lead goes to the door, knocks on the door, and it's like, "Hey, Miss Bowen, I'm Lauren. I'm here to move you, and I want to introduce my team." And then the back of the truck door flies open, and the guys are running down the ramp, and they're, like a football style. And like, here we have Jordan, and he does like a little cartwheel in the yard or something,
Oh my
something
gosh, that's
cute.
amazing.
We play a happy playlist, and so that starts from the moment we pull up. And we ask the customer, is it okay if we play this music? Because for those of you who know, like, moving is loud.
Yep. Yep.
It's loud. We're trying to make sure that, like, when there's a bump on the wall, that, like, the customer only hears, like, the jam that's playing instead of all of the noises that are going on around you. But also just to get the energy up, because there's so many times you have, like, people come into your home for services and they've got their earbuds in and they're just kind of in their own zone. It's weird. You've got strangers in your house who are like taking away everything that you have, touching all your stuff. So we're trying to create an energy around it that says that, hey guys, it's just your pink zebra moving friends that are here to move you today. And then after your move, we leave you a surprise. We call them zebra prints, where we'll put toilet paper in your bathroom. It's wrapped in pink. We'll put paper towels, pink wrapped paper towels in your kitchen, dish soap on the sink, a laundry tab in your laundry room, like the stuff that you were not thinking of when you were
Yeah, the
moving
stuff
into
you
the
didn't
house, like
it's
stuff that
stuck
you
in a
just
box somewhere,
yeah.
exactly.
We wanna make it as, like, easy as we can possibly make it for you, and, like, the movers, they love it too, they buy into it, they come up with ideas. Like, we had a mover that heard this lady was moving because of a divorce.
Yeah, yeah.
She was like, "I don't really wanna leave this house, but I'm leaving for good reasons." They did, like, a bachelor. It was, like, 11 movers, walked up her hill and handed her a rose. It was just, like, the cutest video I think I've ever seen, and this lady was just like, "Oh my god, I can't even believe you guys are doing this right now. This is so crazy that my moving company is, like, cares about
If
me."
that would have happened to me and my movers brought me roses, I would have never stopped talking about them.
Yeah.
ever. I would have been insufferable about it because that is so sweet. That's
Yeah.
so sweet.
It's really cool to see how the customers, the clients are receiving us and the excitement behind what we're doing with the cruise. And like, I have so much fun at this company. And building this company has been, I'm not here to lie to you. It's been exhausting, but it has been such a good kind of exhausting. What I do is so rewarding.
I love talking to women in moving because we tend to see this industry differently. It definitely shows up in the way that we lead. What is some advice that you would have to other women in the industry or even to our men in the industry?
We actually have a couple of female franchisees. And it's been really cool to watch them grow their businesses. I have been in the business world for so long, and it's my life. You got to have some real grit behind you in order to be able to build a business. And a lot of people don't realize that it actually is more difficult for us. And it's not just like a soapbox, it's a reality. I can't tell you how many times I was laughed out of the room when we were first getting started in this brand. I was an executive at Two Mains and I had the power of numbers there. I was received differently at that business because it was a maid service, different industry. We started building this and I'm calling and I'm telling people, okay, well, here's our story and this is what we're looking to do and we are going to do this again. It's not like a crazy wild prediction. It's a fact. We are going to do this again and you're going to want to be a part of it. I promise you're going to want to be a part of it. And the amount of resistance that I got, people are like, first of all, movers are never going to wear pink. So you can just call it a quits right now because the stupid idea that movers are going to wear pink and they're going to be excited about customer experience and they're going to want to do all of these things that you're pretending or exciting. You're in for a rude awakening, lady. The reception that we ended up obviously getting was so different than what the perspective was. Hey guys, do you remember like the moment from Pretty Woman where you're like, remember me?
Oh
Big
yeah,
mistake. Like, yeah.
big mistake.
Huge, big mistake, huge.
Huge.
For our female franchisees, it's really cool to see them out in the field. Consumer likes it. I think the consumer gravitates towards the fact that we're women, we get it. We're the ones who are responsible for the move. We just are. All of us have moved. If you're an
Mhm.
adult, you have moved at some point. I'm making the phone call, I'm packing the stuff, I'm going to coordinate the stuff. And so when a woman walks into their home to give an estimate, they're just instantly like relieved. Oh, you're the one that owns the business. I know I'm in good hands. I know that you're going to take care of my stuff just like you take care of your own. And the women that we have, they're powerhouses. They're incredible. They're going to be wildly successful, all of them. What I love the most about it though is as a mover, and I will say this to any moving company owner that I can get my hands on. Don't go on that truck, man. Don't go on that truck. You cannot grow your business if you are moving somebody's furniture today. And so the great thing about women in business in the moving industry is that we're not picking up your furniture.
No.
We're not. I'm not saying I'm not strong enough to lift it, but I'm not doing it. And so I'm going to find a way to make sure that I've got enough people here and that I've got my team is in line.
It's a hard switch for a lot of our movers out there that I talk to. Sometimes they still every once in a while they say, I just get out of the truck just so I can prove that I can still do it. And I said, that's okay, but you got to get back off of
Yeah.
it. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, like yeah,
I think that's the
definitely.
biggest dose of leadership too, is realizing that like, hey, you know what? Someone else could actually do this and I need to work on this. We're natural born coordinators of chaos. Shout out to your women franchise owners out there and what they're doing. Hey, hats off to the girls. Very, very exciting to have them growing businesses and just changing the industry. And I
Yeah.
also loved your story about how people like they laughed, right? People will always doubt you when you're trying to trailblaze and you're trying to disrupt an industry because you're disrupting it makes people uncomfortable. And honestly, hey movers, y'all look really good in pink. You do. The companies that are growing long term, they're not always the loudest or boldest. They're the ones that are really thinking about what the customer's going to remember. And they're the ones that teams want to be a part of because they're creating a fun experience. When your customers are having fun, your team's going to have fun too. And that's creating an entire culture around a brand that's memorable and continuing to grow. I want to leave it with a last word of wisdom. So, for any of our movers out there that are thinking about franchising someday, right? What is the first thing that you think they need to get right before they even consider that?
If you're looking to franchise your own business, viability is key. So just make sure you have your systems locked down, you know your numbers, you understand your margins. You're able to get everything as refined and fine tuned as possible. Every market is a little bit different. And so you've got to have viability from coast to coast. You've got to have something that can be repeatable over and over again, no matter where you pop it up and no matter who is running it.
Great advice, movers. If you got more questions, make sure you drop them up in the comments. If you guys got a lot for this episode, make sure you hit subscribe and share with another mover who's trying to grow smarter. And if you want to be around other movers like Lauren and her folks at Peak Zebra that are building real systems, real brands, and amazing customer experiences, you're going to want to be at Summit October 18th through the 11th in Scottsdale, Arizona. You can save your seat today at summit.smartmoving.com. Until next time, work smarter, not harder. We'll see you later.